Okay, everyone is joining the class. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Michaels Community Classroom. You are here with Cara from FIMO, and I apologize. I've forgotten your handle. If you wouldn't mind saying it quickly, Cara.
It's Kylo Chic.
Kylo Chic, yes. This is Cara from Kylo Chic, and she is going to work with FIMO clay today. We're really excited to get started. Just a reminder, everyone, that this class is being recorded and will be available on starting Saturday on michaels.com/classes. And we have more great classes coming shortly. We have a bunch of classes that you can sign up for. You just go over to that michaels.com/classes. And without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Cara.
All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. This is my first Michaels digital classroom. So we had a little some kinks to work out before you guys came in, but I'm excited to show you all about the FIMO Leather Effect polymer clay. So this is an oven hardening clay, just like the rest of FIMO's line of polymer clay, but this is the leather effect, so it actually has some unique qualities once it's baked. So I have a few pieces here that I've already rolled out and baked, and as you can see, it's very, very flexible, which makes it great for doing certain things like clutches. This whole bag was made with the FIMO Leather Effect clay. The tassel, the keychain, the wrist strap, all of it. So it's, and I'll be showing you how to make something similar to this one here today, along with these tassels a little bit later. But this, so again, it's an oven hardening. So when you have it, when you open it from the package, let me just show you the texture. It's really like this polymer clay that you're used to from FIMO leather. I mean, it's a little, but it's very soft. So it's kind of like the FIMO soft, what is it, like the FIMO Kids version. Definitely a lot softer than the professional. But as you can see, it's almost like, I would say like a kid's clay. And it's not as soft as Play-Doh, but it has this really cool texture in it. So if we do an overhead, maybe we can kind of show some of the texture up close here. You can kind of see it's not smooth. It's actually got this very cool leather looking texture. And I think that's actually made from cellulose fibers that are in the polymer clay. So, and then once it's baked, it retains that leathery look and the durability of leather. Some other fun qualities of it are that you can actually sew it. You can sew this with a sewing machine or by hand. I'm going to show you one of these clutches, this clutch that I made. I actually marbled the clay like you would the regular polymer clay. But as you can see here, there are actually, I use my sewing machine on the basting stitch, which is the longest stitch length, to stitch on a zipper and to stitch the clay to itself. So you have a little zipper pouch that you made out of it, which is really kind of cool because you can do it in any colors. They have so many different colors here. I can run through a few of them, but you can create that marble effect and sew it, which is fun. Sorry, let me show you.
Hey, Cara, we have a question from Doris. She asked, how durable would you say is the clay?
So definitely once baked, depending on what you're using it for. So you can do leather beads, or I have like these earrings that I've made with the clay. They're very soft, very durable. Now the bags, there's different techniques. So this one that's sewn actually feels a lot more durable. I mean, you can see I'm like squishing it all up. It's not breaking. It's not, you know, it bends and it goes right back. So it works really well. One thing that I have noticed, if it's some of the bags that are folded, you want to make sure, like this has a fold along the bottom instead of a sewn edge. You want to make sure that your leather is an appropriate thickness. If it's too thin, it can crack. If it's too thick, it can crack. So, and I'll talk more about that whenever we get to the clutch making portion. But it's definitely very durable. So just like regular polymer clay, when you bake it, it does get hard, but the thinner sheets are very flexible and moldable. So it's not, you know, you can see here like you can't do that with regular polymer clay. So that's really kind of a cool, unique feature of it. So I've already talked about the leather look, that it's bendable, that it's sewable. You can, once you've rolled it out and baked it, you can actually punch holes in it with either like a leather awl or any sharp tool. I mean, I've even used a hole punch. And then you can cross stitch on it, which is fun. It'd be a fun detail for a bag or a keychain. You can cross stitch somebody's name or embroider on it. Excuse me.
We have another question. Do you need to bake it before starting to sew?
Yes, so I will kind of go through this step by step, but I've found that for most of the projects that I've made, from the tassels to the bags, I even made in the earrings and the bangles, these are like bangle bracelets, I baked the clay first. Well, I rolled it out into sheets like this, and then I baked it. Because it's so soft, it's hard to really get the shape that you want without, you know, getting it being deformed when you go to put it on the baking sheet. Unless I guess you're using a piece of parchment that you can just transfer directly. But I found that it's better to bake it and then form it. So let me get this little instruction book. I did want to say, so all of these clays and 2 of these clay kits are available at Michael's. This is a tassel kit that we'll be talking about today, and I'll be going through how to make a tassel with the clay. They also have this fun bow kit to make a little hair bow, little leather hair bow, which is fun. And then we have all of the colors. So I believe there are 12 colors. I, of course, love the bright, vibrant ones. We've got like a coral, cobalt blue, neon pink, mustard yellow, a lime green, and then we also have the neutrals. So let me grab those real quick.
We have a couple of people asking, how many bars of clay would you use for a clutch?
For the clutch, I used 2 for the body of the clutch, and then a 3rd brick for the tassels and the closures. So the clay is about $3.49 a brick. So that comes out to, you know, less than $10 for a clutch, which is a really good price, I think, you know, for something that you're crafting that you can completely customize. So they also have some more natural colors like a terracotta, a brown leather, a white, a gray, black, and this lighter like buttercream yellow color. So there's quite a few colors to choose from. One other fun aspect of it is that you can actually paint it once it's hardened. So these earrings that I'm wearing here and these bangle bracelets, I baked the clay and then I actually painted it with acrylic craft paint to get custom colors as well. You can also get custom colors by mixing the clay, as you know, with regular clay, but I thought it was fun to be able to paint it too. And you can add I used like a paint pen to add some designs on it, and it doesn't get tacky or anything like that, so, which is a unique feature. Sorry, I was just going to see. So again, like I said, you can sew it, punch it, it's bendable. You can emboss it. So if you have an embossing folder, while it's still, before you've baked it, you can put it in an embossing folder and press onto a pattern on it. You can also use little Thinlit dies. I don't know if you are familiar with those, but you can press them in there to make an embossed pattern on, or like the back of a cookie cutter on the clay before you bake it to emboss it. And then the other fun thing is that once it's baked, you can actually cut it. So you can use scissors and just cut it like you would leather or fabric, and it cuts super simple like that. So I believe those are all the features. Also, like I said, you can mix it like the marbling effect, or you can create patterns with it. So if there are any questions, feel free to ask them now. And otherwise, I'll get started on this tassel kit to kind of show you guys how to make a tassel with the leather effect clay.
We have one last question from Patty. Do you have to condition the clay before starting?
It's actually really soft out of the package. I found that the less I work with it, the more flexible it is once it's baked. So the more I manipulate the clay when it's in its, you know, unbaked form, the stiffer it gets once it's baked. So this one was the marble, so it's definitely been worked a lot more. And it's definitely a lot thicker. Now, I mean, I didn't roll it out as thin, but it's definitely not as pliable as some of the clay that I just took right from the brick and rolled out. That seems to, I think it's something to do with the cellulose fibers aligning a little bit better when it's right out of the package. Hopefully that answered the question. Okay, so I'll get started with a tassel. So like I said, they have a fun tassel kit at Michael's that has some starter bricks of clay and all of the accessories that you need to make a double tassel. And honestly, you could probably make 2 sets of tassels with all the supplies that they have in here. So it comes with the instruction book, 4 colors of clay, jump rings, and some leather. So this is really all you need, that plus some scissors and a rolling pin, and you can make a few tassels. So I already have this blue, so I'm going to start with this. And I have the acrylic rolling pin, and then I'm just going to start rolling it out. Now, if you have a pasta machine or a clay rolling machine that you use just for clay purposes, you can do that as well. It does make the process a lot simpler, but the rolling pin works just as well. I think the pasta machine or the clay rolling machine is better for when you do the clutch so that you have an even thickness all the way throughout the clay, but it's not necessary. I mean, you can still make it without it. So once you have the clay rolled out, you're probably going to want, I don't know what this is, probably about 1/16 of an inch. You see, I pulled it a little bit, so there's a hole. So you can just fold it over and roll it out some more. So again, like I said, I like to bake it before I start to manipulate it. But at this point, if you wanted to, and you had it on a piece of parchment, you could easily cut it with an exacto knife or utility knife, or even scissors at this point. Scissors do work to cut it as well, as you can see.
What type of surface do you recommend it to be rolled out on?
A piece of tile. I'm just using this marble pastry board. I use this for all my crafts, so I know it's marble, but I also like, when I take photos, I like it to be the background. So I don't ever use this for food, but this works really well. A piece of tile, ceramic tile, or a parchment. You know, if you just put a piece of parchment paper on your desk, the parchment, it makes it easy to peel off and bake. So those are all great surfaces to work on. And anything that you don't mind being cut, because if you are using an exacto knife with it, you know, it will make marks in the surface. So again, this is my craft board, so that's why I'm doing it on that. But normally, yeah, you probably don't want to cut it on a piece of marble. It will scratch that marble surface. Okay, so this is about the thickness that you're going to want for a tassel. I think it's so thin that it's hard to actually measure, but I would say 1/32 or something of an inch. Like, it is very thin. Let me see if you can kind of see that it's almost like you know, like you can't even see the line. So once you have it like this, you would take it and put it on your baking sheet into the oven. If you have a toaster oven, you can use that. I just use my regular convection oven, and I have a baking sheet that I use for when I bake clay. And you're going to bake the clay for 30 minutes, no higher than 265 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know what the equivalent is in, I should know this, I think it's 130 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. And the 30 minutes, I tested it, that's what they recommend, but of course I wanted to test different temperatures to see what worked best. And I feel like it was still too brittle if you underbaked it, so you really want to go for that 30-minute mark. Set a timer, keep it in there for that 30 minutes, and it should be good for you. So I have the piece rolled out, that's going to be the tassel, and then you can take the leftover clay and roll this into a bead, take some other colors, however you want your tassel to be. So this, I'm just going to roll it into a ball to create a bead. You can find needles or these fun, like these are clay piercing needles to help it bake it so that you can create those beads. So once you have the ball rolled. You're just gonna pierce through the bead, and that way you can bake it, and you can form it on this a little bit if you need to. So then that's also ready to bake. So once you baked it, I've got a few pieces here that are already baked. They are hard, ready to go. And then I have my pieces that I've already baked to create the tassels. So at this point, I'm going to cut it and trim down the leather. So as you can see, I just left the edges rough because I knew that I was going to cut it afterwards. So I'm just gonna cut it into a rectangle. Let's see, not the length of the rectangle, but the width of the rectangle will be the length of your tassel. So this direction, this will be the top, and all of this will be the fringe. So if you leave this longer, you'll have a longer tassel. And again, the length of the tassel will, this part here will determine how thick your tassel is. So once you have your piece cut into a rectangle, you're going to fringe cut. Again, just a pair of scissors. You can also do this with a ruler and an exacto knife if you want to be more precise with your cuts, but since it's all rolled up, it's kind of hard to tell if some of the pieces aren't exactly the same width.
Hey, Cara, we have a couple of questions if you have some time. Would you consider the clay stretchable after it's been baked?
No, it is definitely not stretchable. It is flexible and you can bend it, but it's not stretchy. Like it's very hard. Like I'm pulling with all my, as much as I can here, and it's not going to stretch or break. So.
Awesome. And then we have a question. Once you open a clay pack and you don't use all of it, do you need to preserve it somehow or to keep it from drying out, or what would you recommend?
It depends on how long you're going to be between uses. I've had some pieces that I had just sitting out on my shelf in the packaging, or like just on the piece of plastic, open, exposed to the air for a few days, and it's completely fine. But if it's going to be months, one unique feature of the FIMO packaging is that if you open it carefully, it actually self-seals back up. So you can open it here in the back. Well, I don't want to rip it too hard. You can open this up, cut out what you need, and then this will actually self-seal back together to keep it fresh for you. But if you've already worked some of the clay and you have like just a chunk here that you need, I like to use Ziploc bags or saran wrap to wrap it up to keep it airtight. I don't think that it will fully dry up because it's a polymer clay. It's not an air dry clay, but it does get more brittle the longer it's exposed to air just from that water evaporating that's in it. Okay, so as you see here, I've got it all fringe cut, which is actually a fun trim piece that you could, use to add to your clutch or something too, if you wanted to have like fun fringe trim. But once you have your piece cut, one of the fun, or what I really like about the clay is that you can use super glue to glue it together. And that's really how I made this, like this clutch and the yellow one. I didn't sew any of it. As you can see, there's no stitching on it. I used the super glue to attach the clay to itself to create the clutch. So with a super glue, let me see, this is a new bottle. You're just gonna run a bead along the top line of the FIMO Leather Effect clay where you did not cut. And then you're just going to roll it up. And just be careful not to get it on your fingers, the super glue, because it will glue your fingers together or your fingers to the clay. If that happens, acetone fingernail polish remover works wonders. I know this from experience. But as you can see now, I have a fun tassel. And so you can, once you get to this point, you can add the leather rope that comes in the kit. If you don't buy the kit and you just buy the full bricks of it, then you can use any sort of cording or wire to create a loop on the tassel. And then you will want to, well, I realize now that I did not make these bead holes big enough. Closed up a little bit on me. Or I made it, oh, that's why, because I made one with a small skewer. Well, we'll add the blue bead. So you can add the blue bead to it, create a little loop. Really, this time is the time for you to use your imagination. Now, there are instructions, I'll show you, there are instructions in the tassel kit to show you how to make the tassel that's shown on the cover. But you can use your imagination and create any sort of tassel bead combo that you like.
We have another good question here. Can you use this type of clay in a silicone mold?
You can. I think the biggest issue with it would be to make sure that there's no bubbles. I've tried using the clay, not a specific one, but the polymer clay in a silicone mold before, and it does create air pockets when you're trying to press it into the mold. So as long as you can eliminate that, maybe doing a thin layer and really making sure that the air pockets are out, it shouldn't be a problem. So yes, you could do that. Okay, so I just threaded the bead here with the, the string. And then I just put it through the top of the tassel. And I'm going to actually super glue this on because I made the hole, let's see if I can show the hole of my tassel fairly big, so I can't really tie a knot in the bottom of this and have it hold there. So I'm gonna add a little bit of super glue in here and super glue this string onto the tassel. But again, super glue is kind of your best friend with this clay because it really helps you create a bunch of unique things, especially since I like manipulating this clay after it's been baked as opposed to before with traditional polymer clay, where you would manipulate it before it's hardened. This one after, it's nice to have that super glue be able to like join the clay pieces together for you. I'm just going to make sure that that's in there, and I'll let that sit for a second. Do we have any more questions?
Are you able to cut the clay and glue it before it's baked?
You can cut the clay before it's baked, but I don't think that the glue, I don't think you would want to heat the super glue. So I would recommend doing the gluing after it's been baked and cooled. But as you can see here, like I can cut the clay. It does shrink a little. This leather effect clay does shrink a little when it's baked. So that is another reason why it's nice to roll it out a little bit bigger than you might need it for the finished project, because it will shrink a little bit in the oven. I was going to say, oh, and you can use an exacto knife or a utility knife to cut it as well while it's before it's been hardened in the oven, as well as after it's been hardened in the oven. That also works. You just have to push a little bit harder. One thing that is fun with it, if any of you have a vinyl cutting machine that has a knife blade, you can actually cut, once it's been baked and hardened, you can actually cut it with the knife blade in a vinyl cutting machine. So for example, this one that I did, all of these little pieces and the earrings that I'm wearing now, I used my vinyl cutting machine and the knife blade, and it just took a few passes, but I was able to cut out all of these little pieces, and then I just super glued them on this clutch that I had baked and sewn already. So that's another fun way of getting like really intricate details in your clay, which is kind of hard to get with the traditional polymer clay, because you can't do that, you know, just when it's still like flexible and stuff, it's hard to get those like accurate, clean cuts. All right, so we have our tassel. I'll put that aside for now, and we'll talk about this clutch, unless there are any other questions about the tassel at this time, or the clay in general.
We have one question about how you attach the clip of the tassel to a clutch.
Okay, so for this one, I took my tassels and I attached them to a keychain that had like a lobster clasp. And so I just poked a hole with a hole punch. As you can see here, there's a little hole there. I just hole punched the clay, and then I just put the lobster clasp through that hole. Another option, well, I guess I did that same thing here. If you do a zipper one, you can use a jump ring. You can super glue a jump ring onto the tassel and use that to attach to the zipper. Or again, I did that here with these tassels as well, the lobster clasp. I just punched a hole with a hole punch in the baked clay. All right, so for the clutches, as you can see here, let's say with this one, I did a color blocking effect. So we have like the cobalt blue with the more teal color. And on the back, there's that overlapping those color blocked look. I did this primarily because I needed 2 bricks of clay to make the size of clutch that I wanted. But you could do the same color. It doesn't have to be a color blocking look. It can be, you know, whatever color clay that you want. And then for the closure for this one, I actually used a piece of clay. This one was rolled really thick. I used that and only just super glued around the top, along the top, and the bottom lifts up kind of like a little tab. And I super glued on a piece of elastic to the underside that kind of just wraps right around that clay piece. Another option for closure is this one where there's a strip of the leather clay that I super glued again across the top that left the bottom open. And the same thing here, but the opposite side, so that this actually overlaps and locks into place. And you can see it's, well, I just pulled that open, but it holds it closed. So that's another way of doing the closure, which is kind of fun. It was like a unique kind of trying to figure out how to do a closure on a clutch with this clay. But again, you could always, if you're a seamstress, you can sew on a zipper as well. So, okay, so we'll get started. I'll take this clay that I already rolled out. And I found, again, like I said earlier, I found that the clay rolling machine really works well for getting an even thickness of the clay when working with the clutch. But if you don't have a machine, you could add guides to your acrylic roller, like just a rubber band around the side so that you can't push down too much and you get an even roll. That's a baker's trick for you. If you do have a clay machine, you want to start at 1 and just roll it through to just get that initial roll. All right, and then you just kind of keep working your way down. I found the optimal for the clutch is like a level 4 or 5. So if you go from 1 to 2, and you go to 3 or 4, by the time you get to 4 or 5, it's pretty thin, and it's perfect for the clutch. Again, if you are using the roller, you want it to kind of be like that tassel where it's just not really paper thin, but almost like a cardstock, just like a hair thicker than what a cardstock would be. So it's fairly thin. This is a little difficult sitting down. I tend to stand up when I roll to get that little bit of pressure. But 1 full brick, if rolled correctly, will get you a piece about this size. So if it's the proper thinness for a clutch, this is just 1 brick of clay. And this is, I would say, roughly 6 inches by 7 inches. So that'll help you guide you to, as you can see, here's a pink one that I did. It's not perfect. So don't worry about getting that perfect, like, straight rectangle. That's what's nice about this, is that you can cut it afterwards to the correct size that you need. So once you have your clay, oh, I should tell you one other unique feature is if you're rolling the clay, it will get fairly smooth on the surface and look just like a regular polymer clay does. But in order to get that leather effect, that leather texture to show up, you just kind of want to pull the clay, just stretch it a little bit. And as you stretch it, it will show those fibers and give you that really like mottled leather textured look. So I sometimes will kind of gently do that, almost like I'm stretching like pizza dough, but just very gently. And once I have that rolled and stretched gently to reveal those fibers, I will put this on my baking sheet and bake it again for 30 minutes at 265 Fahrenheit or 130 degrees Celsius. And then once it's baked, I'll let it cool. And once you have that, you will have the pieces for your clutch. So for the clutch, you will need 2 bricks of clay. One, it can be the same color, it can be different colors if you want the color blocking, but this will form the body of the clutch. And then you'll need an extra little piece that will be for the closures or any details that you want to add to it or tassels or whatnot. So I would say 3 bricks of clay will definitely get you a finished clutch with accessories to add on. Okay, so now that you have your baked pieces, let me find the scissors. Here we go. I'm going to just even this out. Now, if you have a rotary cutter or a ruler and a mat, like you can do this a little bit more accurately. For this instance, I'm just going to eyeball it, but you can use a ruler and the exacto knife to get this, you know, really nicely cut into a rectangle. Again, it doesn't really matter the size that you end up, as long as it's good for you. You know, I don't know that these are exactly the same, these clutches that I make. Actually, they're pretty much the same. But if you're wanting to use this clutch to hold a pair of sunglasses, then just make sure that your that it's going to be at least an inch and a half wider than your sunglasses to account for the depth of the sunglasses. But other than that, there's no hard and fast rule on the sizing here. Just you want to make sure that the 2 colors or the 2 pieces that you make are roughly the same size. So now after I cut the first one, I'm going to go ahead and use that one as a guide for this second piece. I can already see that the pink one is a little bit smaller, so I'm going to trim down this top one to get it to match up better. But as you can see, it's very easy to cut and trim. I would say almost easier than cutting fabric, because these scissors definitely would not work on fabric. As you can see, it's a little bit smaller, so I'm just going to trim this. And then I'll trim the portal to match.
We have a couple questions if you have some time. Yeah. What are the odds of the clay sticking to the rollers?
In the machine, they don't, unless you go really thin. Like, I don't think that this clay can go past a 6 or 7 without it really tearing apart. When you are rolling it through the machine and it's like a big piece, it will get stuck to the edge here, this outer edge, as you're trying to pull it through. So you kind of definitely have to do it slowly, like hold the clay up, unless you have like the form that will hold it, but hold the clay up with one hand, guide this one out a little bit, roll it a little bit more, guide it out, roll it a little bit more. If you're working with like a full sheet like this. If it's just a small little piece that you're rolling, it doesn't get stuck in there. And I don't really have an issue with it ever getting stuck on the acrylic roller. Actually, it's pretty easy to work with. I feel like it's almost easier than the standard polymer clay. It is soft, but I think that's because, or I like it, even though it is soft, I like it because I can bake it and then manipulate it a lot easier. Okay, so now I'm just gonna trim this one up. This is the bottom one. Now, if you're going for a certain size, definitely make sure, you know, that you roll it out beforehand to the size that you need, or a little bit bigger, because it does shrink up. But now we have 2 pieces that are roughly the same size. And for this, I'm going to now bind these together with a little bead of super glue. Was there another question?
Yes. What do you recommend for cleaning the clutch once it's put together?
I would say just a damp cloth would probably work, because it isn't actual leather. It's just, you know, polymer. It's just plastic. So a damp paper towel is probably all you need to clean it. And it's gonna repel water and everything like that, because it is plastic. It's not like a traditional leather. All right, so I'm gonna let this sit for just a second to get that bond in there. But now we just basically created a full sheet of, for a longer sheet of the leather effect clay. So for the bottom of the clay, I'm just gonna fold it up. Roughly, this is all for me, it's all just kind of visual. It's about 2/3 of the way up so that you get a nice color blocking effect here with the fold over. So I would say that this is maybe slightly over 2/3, maybe 3/4 of the way up. And then you're gonna gently push on the edges here, and you're just gonna super glue those sides. So again, this is what's really nice. It's like this takes no sewing skills or anything whatsoever. Funny enough, I actually got started crafting, doing handbags. So I was like, this is like a full circle moment for me. 15 years ago, I made my first bag and took it to a local store to sell, and now I'm showing you guys how to make the bag. So it's fun. So again, you're just gonna kind of pinch it here. You can use binder clips or some sort of clamp if you want to hold it in place while the glue dries, but I feel like it binds pretty quickly. You do just want to make sure that when you are folding it here that you don't get it on your fingers. I did glue 2 of my fingers together when I was making one of these. I don't remember which one it was. Just kind of hold that and form that, create that seal. There you go. And then, so now you have your clutch. Now, as you can see, this flap wants to stay open. So that's why you really do need that closure. So for this one, I'm going to use the turquoise, and I'm just going to cut some strips, and I'm going to do the same closure that I did for the gray and yellow sun clutch. And so you want just about 1 inch thick strips of the leather effect clay that you have rolled and baked. The width isn't necessarily, or the length here doesn't really matter as long as they're the same. So I would say this is about 1.5 inches by 1 inch, but feel free to adjust as needed. That's pretty much not all right, so then I'm going to put one up here, and I'm going to align it. Well, I'm going to glue this one on first. I'm going to glue the one onto the flap first so that I can make sure that the one on the bottom is in the correct position. And again, I'm just going to put a little bead of the super glue on one side only. So just along the top here so that this bottom part can stay as the flap, or can stay flappy so that it can connect to that other piece of clay. Here we go. Okay, so now I'm going to fold it over. I'm going to insert this one here so that it kind of guides me and tells me where I need to do it. And then I'm just going to unhook it. So now I have roughly the spot that I need to, I'll just double check that. Okay. So now I know roughly this is where I need to attach this other one. And I'm going to gently lift it up and do it right here so that I don't move that out of the position. Press it down. And that is your easy closure. Again, if you can sew, I do feel that the clutches that you can do in 2 pieces, like as you can see here, this is 2 pieces of clay that I stitched together. You can make these a little bit thicker because you don't need to do this fold over. And this holds really well. Just make sure that when you are stitching it with the machine, you do a really long basting stitch instead of a closer together stitch that you would normally do for fabric, because if the stitching is too close together, it can actually almost cut the clay. So that is also another option for creating this. All right. Okay, so now those are attached. We will just slide them in there. And there we go. There's the simple clutch. And then if you are wanting to add your tassel, get a little awl or a hole punch, and you can punch a hole right here in the clay with that and use that to attach your tassel. So I'm just going to steal this tassel from over here since it's got the clasp on it. And I'm just going to poke it through that hole and add that tassel. There you go. Let me see, sorry. So there's the little clutch. And then you can see with Like this one, I just curved the top. So I went ahead after I made it and I cut this in a curved pattern. You could do, you know, a triangle, you could do zigzag, just kind of make it however you want and however you like. And then again, for detailing, so for this sunburst, I wanted it to look like a sun and the rays of sun. I took another piece of yellow clay that I had rolled out and cut that into strips and used the super glue to attach that to this gray portion once I had made the bag to create those sunburst pieces. And then you can also do it and create like a wrist strap too that you can use to hold it. This would also be great for like a lanyard or for a key fob. You can do something like that as well with the clay, and then add any sort of little keychains or detailing. So I think that sums that up, unless there's any questions about the clutch that anybody has. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to get that in.
No, we got some compliments. You know, some people have said that it looks wonderful. Got some people that are really interested in the marbling effect, the marble clutch.
Oh, we can show you
really
that,
like
yeah.
the flower clutch.
Oh yes, yeah. So yeah, on this one, I just wanted to show two different techniques. So it's not necessary. I mean, I guess it could be a marble on one side and a flower on the other, but I kind of wanted to just show different techniques on how you can use that clay. So for the marbling, you would just, if you've marbled polymer clay before, it's really the same process. The only difference is, and I don't know if you can see it here, it's not as smooth of a marble. You can see that texture show through that's in the clay. So those little cellulose fibers, when you start to marble it, it almost looks like it has a kind of a grainier appearance than a traditional marble with the polymer clay. So that is one thing to keep in mind. Open one of these. But you'll just want to roll your clay into log shapes to start this marble. So I'll show you guys how to do the marble. Again, like I said at the beginning, you can also paint it. So let me take off one of my earrings here. But this was, just left it raw on the other side so you can see this was the gray FIMO leather effect clay, and I actually painted it with acrylic craft paint, and then I used an oil-based paint pen to paint on the detailed designs, and I cut this with my vinyl cutting machine. So I rolled out the gray into a long sheet, I put it in the vinyl cutting machine with a knife blade, and I cut out the Monstera leaf, and then I painted it and added the detailing on it, which I think is a fun, and then as you can see, it feels like leather, it looks like leather up close, and it's definitely bendable and flexible, and it's not breaking. So that's a fun, different way of using it. I kind of like to find unique methods for using some of the clay and that haven't been thought of before. So hopefully I've shared some new ideas for you guys to experiment with. So for the marbling, you're going to want to pick some colors that actually go well together, because otherwise if you choose too many or you marble it too much, it'll just turn into a brown mush. So you really want to get some colors that are complementary, that blend well. So for this one, I'm going to go with the pink and blue and a little bit of black in there. So again, you can see I created the 3 logs. I'm going to squish those together, roll it. Sorry, I try not to roll too hard on the table because my tripod is resting on me. But once you have them rolled together, then you're just going to start twisting it. The more you twist it, the bigger, or the more marbled your clay will look. So once you get it fairly well twisted, you're going to fold it in half and twist it again. You want to do this 3 or 4 times, depending on how marbled you want the clay to look. You get it long enough. So for me, it's harder to twist. It's starting to come apart, and then just roll it into a log again. Fold it in half, twist it more. So the leather effect does pull apart a little bit, as you can see here. I don't know if you can see that, but it starts to kind of pull apart, and seeing that like leather, those fibers start to show. So you just have to be a little bit careful when you are marbling it. Okay, and we're gonna twist it a little bit more. And you can kind of gauge, like, okay, you can still see big swirls of color in here, so I haven't over mixed it. But you can kind of gauge like how it's going to look, and if you want to keep twisting it and keep forming it. to really marble that clay together. Okay, so I think it's getting to a point where I like it. So now I'm just going to, sorry, stand up so that I can roll this out. I'm going to start to roll this out to see what it looks like. If you start to roll it out and you're like, oh, that's not as marbled as I want, feel free to just bunch it back up and twist it a little bit more. So I'll just do that. As you can see here, it's starting to get pretty good. I think that's good. So I'm going to actually just use the clay machine. I'm going to set it on the largest setting, which is 1. And then I'll just kind of pull that through. And that'll help me marble it as well. But you can use the rolling pin for this. So let's see. You can see it's already created this nice marbled, grainy look. So if you're used to working with regular polymer clay, it is a little bit different. The marbling does look a little bit different. The other issue that you will see, well, I guess that's kind of the same with regular, is that it does separate a little bit here. So if you're wanting like one long piece, you kind of need to work with a lot of clay at once, but so that you don't really work it together and end up forming a new color of clay versus that marble look. Because once you've marbled it, you can't continue to work it too much, or else it just will end up blending together. But that's how you would marble it. For this clutch, I used 4 bricks of clay. I used the pink, the teal, the mustard yellow, and the other one, white, I believe it was white. So I used that and mixed it together quite a bit. As you can see, the colors are very, very mixed in there. And I rolled it out and I was able to make these 2 pieces, which, as you can tell, it's roughly the same size as these ones that I only used 2 bricks for, but I used 4. So this clay is definitely twice the thickness. And so, but that works well with the stitched clay. So anyway, so then once you have the marble, just go ahead and bake it. At this point, before it's baked, if you want to cut it with cookie cutters or anything like that, you definitely can. You don't have to do that because the cookie cutters won't really work once it's been baked because it is too hard for them to penetrate. So that is something that you would need to do beforehand, before baking it. But again, if you have like a cutting machine that you want to use, definitely bake it first before cutting it. Or if you want to cut it with scissors into more intricate shapes, do that after baking it. All right, well, I think I'm done, so I can answer any more questions that anybody has, or if they want to see me do something with it, feel free to let me know.
Yeah, we have a question about, can you add glitter to the clay?
I would say try it. I haven't attempted that yet, but I don't see how that would hurt anything. I'm pretty sure that would work because it is, you know, the polymer clay that you're used to. It just has that add-in of those fibers. So I think adding glitter to it wouldn't hurt it or prevent it, you know, from hardening the same way.
Well, perfect. I don't see any questions. We have a lot of compliments, people saying that looks really cool. Marble looks like a galaxy. Thank you.
Oh, I did see somebody asked about making impressions. You can,
yes.
if you, 1 second, I can show you how I did that. So these are little, for like a rolling cutting machine. These are little thin-lit metal dies, and they have raised parts that kind of emboss it. So you can do like this and just kind of press it into the clay before baking it and then pull it up. And I don't know, you can actually see that. Let me see. Try with a solid color. I think the pattern is a little too much. So you can press that in there and it creates, let me see, you can see that a little bit? It creates that pattern in there. So if you do roll out your clay really thin, you can put all of these little dies all over it and press it almost like cookie cutters, but you're not cutting through, you're just embossing it. And then you can bake it and it'll create that embossed leather look. All right. I think that's it.
All right, perfect. People love the class. Thank you everyone for coming to the class today. We had a really great time. Make sure to follow Cara at a Kylo Chic Life. Did I get that right this time?
Yeah, my blog is kylochiclife.com, and then on social it's just Kylo Chic, which is AAILOCHIC. So on all social channels you can find me at Kylo Chic.
Perfect. And if anybody makes this clutch, feel free to tag Cara, tag Michaels. We have hashtag Make It With Michaels if you want to show us what you make. This video is being recorded, so if you'd like to watch it again, it will be available on michaels.com/classes starting on Saturday. And we're going to have more classes with FIMO clay. If you're interested in taking those, make sure to check those out. You can go to michaels.com/classes for that as well. Thank you, Cara. And
yeah.
I hope everyone has a wonderful night.
I was going to say I plugged the other class because I will be doing a jewelry making class, so specifically showing how to use the FIMO leather effect to make jewelry like these earrings or the bangles as well in August. So you guys should look out for that.
Yes, everyone look out for that. That sounds like a really great class. Okay, thank you everyone.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.